With all our hearts, we pray and ask. God bless Anambra. God bless the shining light that we bear. We're the only ones to make her brighter, the only ones to make her better, the only ones to make Anambra shine.
When the sun rises, it splashes its golden rays across the hills to announce a new day. From age to age and across the races, not many people can resist the commanding pull of the rising sun. And they came. From east to west, and from the north to the south, to acknowledge the rising hope in Anambra State. Anambra State has caught the attention of the world. But how did it all start? How did Willie Obiano and his team change the story of Anambra State from horror and despair to hope and contentment?
With all our hearts, we pray and ask.
When Chief Willie Obiano assumed office as governor of Anambra State, he came prepared. He came with a clear vision and mission statement.
We came prepared. I crafted a vision for the state and a mission statement. And of course, we had a blueprint that is built around my 12 enablers and my 4 pillars. The vision I crafted for Anambra State is that I want Anambra State to be first choice investment destination and a hub for economic and commercial activities. My mission for Anambra State is, to create a socially stable, business-friendly environment where indigenes and foreigners alike can create wealth-creating opportunities in the state.
The pillars of Governor Willie Obiano's economic blueprint include agriculture in its mechanized form, industrialization, trade and commerce, and oil and gas. However, Governor Willie Obiano understood that in actualizing his vision for an economically viable state, the key economic enablers would have to be established and strengthened. These include security, education, electricity, health, roads with furniture, housing, the environment, transport, finance, women's welfare, tourism, youth development, and entrepreneurship, among others. Knowing that no meaningful development can be achieved without a peaceful, safe and secure state, Governor Obiano tackled security head-on, adopting a new security architecture. He created an efficient and well-motivated task force known as Operation Ochapu, made up of a crack team of combat-ready officers drawn from the police, the army, the navy and the NDLEA, and invested it with the mandate to cleanse Anambra State of all vestiges of crime and criminality.
Security is number one on the enabler list, because without security, you cannot do anything. Nothing will work. You are dead on arrival without security. So I gave that a lot of push and, of course, decisively let the criminals, kidnappers, armed robbers know that there's a new sheriff in town, and we cut off their command and control centers, their supply lines, and of course motivated the police and the joint military police patrols, and put sandbags in specific locations, and supported them morally to ensure that that happens. And the rest is history. Today, Anambra is the safest state in Nigeria.
He also reorganized, reinvigorated and re-equipped the vigilante groups in the state to provide the missing link between the police and the communities. The result was instantaneous. Anambra has now become Nigeria's safest state. It has become the postcard for safety and security. Stories of kidnapping now belong to distant lands, and the once notorious Upper Iweka that used to be a den of robbers has become a garden of peace. In order to discourage the criminal elements in the state, Governor Obiano invoked the necessary laws to impound and destroy buildings that are associated with kidnapping. Upon his directive, bulldozers move in and pull these buildings to the ground. This serves as a loud warning to the underworld that truly a new sheriff has come to town. Governor Obiano also convened a regional security summit involving the 5 states in the southeast and Delta State. All the governors were present, including top national security operatives, to dialogue on ways to stem the tide of regional criminality as miscreants and criminals had fled Anambra to seek refuge in their neighboring states. To secure Anambra from the incidents of robbers who used the waterways to launch attack from the neighboring states, the Obiano administration donated a gunboat to the Nigerian Navy outpost in Onitsha. To the Nigerian police, he handed over 25 ultra-modern smart cars with command and control centers, special kits, speed guns, and alcohol-detecting devices to wage an all-out war against criminals. The patrol cars can be seen parked in strategic locations throughout the state, day and night. Periodically, the governor also employs the use of a helicopter from the Nigeria police for the aerial surveillance of the state. As it hovers over the skies of Anambra, it reinforces the people's new sense of safety. Today, Anambra State is not only adjudged to be the safest state in Nigeria, but Obiano's security manual has become the most sought-after document by other states in Nigeria. This accounts for the sharp rise in economic and social activities witnessed in the state in recent times. Governor Obiano's philosophy of an all-inclusive government is also a bold effort in consensus building and servant leadership. To give flesh to this initiative, he periodically engages in the Anambra in a stakeholders summit or an informal evening of interaction to intimate them on his activities and policies, as well as get feedback and opinions from captains of industry, traditional rulers, renowned professionals and technocrats, top diplomats, civil society, and women and youth groups.
In Governor Willie Obiano, we have a governor with a vision for the state, and much more important than that, with a strategy for the state.
I think one has to say, in all fairness, that under his tenure and through his interventions, both personal and through the government, that the stature and the dignity of the traditional institution in Anambra State has risen to unprecedented levels. Despite the financial constraints that are facing all state governments, he has actually given an increase to the stipend of the traditional rulers within the last 12 months. And it was a token increase, but it's important. And every month, our stipend is paid regularly, just like he has managed to pay the civil servants. So all in all, one has to speak up very fairly that he's been absolutely supportive, respectful, and interactive. He engages with us, with the traditional institution in Anambra State.
I'm pleased to see the progress that has been made in Anambra. I have been one who has been very critical of the governors of the Southeast for a very long time. I think development needs to move out from Lagos. Lagos is now responsible for more than 70% of Nigeria's economy, and a good part of those who make that happen come from the Southeast. And if the governors won't create an enabling environment for them to create back home what they're building elsewhere, something is wrong. So I was lifted up to see progress in Anambra and to see the effort even made to collaborate across the Niger to make that continue to happen. I think this needs to be continued. is to be strengthened so that the appropriate levels of investment flows will go in there, because that region, which I like to call the Niger Basin, should become the Rhine Valley of Africa.
Governor Willie Obiano demonstrated a remarkable foresight when, as if he anticipated the crash in oil price and the attendant hardship faced by many states in the Federation, he carried out extensive reforms to reposition Anambra State as an economically viable state.
It takes a visionary a visionary that is also realistic to begin to, if you like, anticipate what might derail his vision. There is no point dreaming if you cannot put those dreams into reality. But His Excellency was very clear that without the resources, a lot of what he wants to achieve will not come true. And therefore, he began to set up structures that would help ensure that the resources, however big or small they are, were utilized effectively.
To this end, he revitalized the revenue sources of the state, plugged all the leakages, and weeded out 800 ghost workers that had hitherto bled the state dry.
He had a clear funding strategy. IGR is a key component of that clear funding strategy. And everything he does is done with best practice in mind. He wants to do it better than any other state. He doesn't want to see any local behaviors amongst us. So we are in Anambra, but we operate as if we were in the more developed parts of the world. So he thinks in that manner.
One of the basic parameters for measuring how well a governor is doing in Nigeria today is whether the person is able to meet salary payments. And when you're governing a non-oil producing state without derivation money coming to you, and you're able to meet payroll and still get some projects going at this time, I think it's commendable.
Tapping from his wealth of experience as an astute banker and auditor, Governor Obiano's budgeting process is formulated and focused towards the development of Anambra's human and natural resources to make good his election promises.
He started to think about his budget even while he was campaigning. His manifesto is the nucleus of the plan he has for Anambra State, which is in line with the international best practices of budgeting, is to prepare a 4-year state development plan. And in that state development plan, it identifies exactly what we will be doing, the exact sector strategies in agriculture, sector strategies in oil and gas, sector strategies in industrialization, and the 12-13 enablers. And from that 4-year development plan, we refer to that to take our annual budgeting each year.
Today, Anambra is one of the few states that not only pays salaries as at when due, but also has gone a step further to increase salaries of all civil servants across the board in these austere times.
You know, the way things are in this country, it's almost a miracle how the servants of the state are being taken care of. The salaries are coming regularly, as and when due. You're also aware that he authorized a pay raise last year, which is still being paid consistently, along with pensions and allowances. The leave allowances were used to celebrate Christmas last year. You are also aware of the regular bags of rice, 50 kg bags of rice that he gives to civil servants on an annual basis, now an annual ritual. He's giving us buses, mass transit buses, for public servants to ease their transportation problems. So we are doing very well, very, very well. What the civil servants owe the government is increased productivity.
In In his bid to increase the state's IGR, Governor Obiano repositioned the state's Internal Revenue Board for better service delivery. He also ensured that Anambra was the first state to operate the single treasury account. To ensure effective revenue collection, the state government is now deploying the use of technology to ensure that all internally generated revenue are properly accounted for. With the state's data bank upgraded by this administration, the Ministry of Finance, in conjunction with the Ministry of Technology, has successfully captured all civil servants to ensure a more reliable planning and execution of government policies.
What we are now trying to do here is to use ICT to make government processes more efficient, optimize the processes, be it in the course of the government to citizen interaction, will make it possible for citizens to quickly relay their views to government. This helps government to plan.
Governor Obiano has also shown that he has the right sensibility to lead a frontline state like Anambra. Before the Obiano administration, Awka had absolutely no landmark and nothing by which anyone could remember it. But happily, in the past 2 years of the Obiano administration, the story has changed. Awka is fast shedding its provincial outlook and wearing the looks of a modern state capital. This is one of the promises Governor Obiano made when he resumed office. The two magnificent flyovers in Aroma and Kwata, and the third in Amobia, are ambitious landmarks that point to the emergence of an avant-garde capital city. The three bridges, with a total length of approximately 700 meters, are a monument to the entrepreneurial gift and pioneering spirit of Anambra and an enduring legacy of the Willie Obiano administration. Each time the suspended towers of the flyovers sparkle to life, spraying dazzling rays into the night to dispel the surrounding darkness, they light up the hopes and aspirations of Anambra, reminding them that they can dream their future into a dazzling reality. One of the pragmatic steps taken by Governor Obiano to actualize his vision of a befitting state capital for Anambra was to create the Awka Capital Territory Development Authority, ACTDA. The agency has not only concluded the aerial mapping of the 10 square kilometer that makes up the Awka Capital Territory, but went further and area mapped the entire state. Anambra is the second state to do so in Nigeria. Governor Obiano's intention is to create new precincts such as the proposed business district area and the Millennium City project, among others. This will move Awka from a mononucleus capital to a bigger multi-nucleus modern city.
You know, a multi-nuclear concept entails, first of all, having the core city, which is where the capital concentrates right now, which is the old Awka. Applying urban renewal to it, which, you know, part of our mandate anyway is to do infrastructure, rapid infrastructure development within the existing areas, and then going into the virgin areas to establish new precincts, which would be mini cities on their own, and then connecting all these different precincts by excellent infrastructure, road network, and so on.
To actualize this, the Obiano-led government has signed MOUs with interested investors to build well-planned modern estates in various parts of the state, including low-cost housing for civil servants.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Anambra State, in partial fulfillment of his campaign promises to the Anambra and civil servants in particular, decided to give the civil servants a very good home, a home to retire. The idea of that, of establishing the estate, is to provide an affordable home for the civil servant. And to make it affordable, he established a well-structured mortgage scheme whereby the civil servants can key in and pay for the home and own a home with child pens.
The MOU I signed last week was the 7th MOU the government signed with different developers and investment. So I think word is getting out that this is a viable place to come and do business. If you check the value of all the investments coming in as a result of these 7 MOUs, it totals almost $1 billion. And is going to create jobs in excess of 5,000 people, both direct and indirect jobs. I'm looking forward to the time these 7 new estates will be completed. When they are completed, this administration would have in 4 years done what other administrations in this state have not done since the state was started 25 years ago.
An ambitious project which will light up major routes across the state has commenced, and street lights are being installed in major towns to beautify the streets and give Anambra a greater sense of safety. The residents are fast adjusting to a nearly 24-hour lifestyle with fancy bars, fast food restaurants, and a fast-evolving youth culture.
His Excellency said is Light Anambra State. Light Anambra State, he directed that we do that in the major cities in Anambra State, Onitsha, Awka, and Nnewi. And it's ongoing, and we're doing it in phases. You can see we're doing the old road from Amansi to Boromi, which is a major one. We're also going to do a major one also on the express here, from before the flyover in Amobia down to Dorakunyeli, the Women Development Center. You know, done one in Nnewi, already commissioned. Some are commissioned in Awka too, from Amobia to Enugu, already commissioned. Commissioned the Agro Lake Bridge, you know, because of the Agro Hotel, you know, so that the road will be well lit.
The creation of the Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, ANSIPA, has turned out to be a masterstroke, as it has inevitably become the workstation of Obiano's economic blueprint. ANSIPA not only consolidates the governor's 4 pillars of development, but also gives a huge boost to wealth creation and economic growth. Governor Obiano's one-stop investment streamroller has attracted several investors to various sectors of the state, ranging from agriculture, energy and power, to housing, health, commerce, hospitality, and auto manufacturing industries. It is not surprising that Anambra ranks among states regarded as top investment destinations in Nigeria, as the Obiano administration has attracted investments valued at over $4 billion in direct foreign and local investments into the state.
His Excellency dreams, wakes up and thought job, job, job. The least common particle of this ANSIPA and investment is to create jobs for the youth, create employment, direct and unemployment. And for each investment that is brought, we must factor the estimated number of jobs, directly and indirectly. It's one of the main factors that determine whether the investment will be attracted, whether the investment is worthwhile the state.
In Nigeria, Anambra has the smallest land mass, and securing land for mechanized farming, the siting of industries, and developing new residential estates would have been a problem. But Governor Obiano pulled another joker when he set up the Anambra Land Acquisition Committee to work in conjunction with ANSIPA to tackle the problem.
And what he did was also wonderful for the people. You don't just give your land and go home. He made sure that the land will be properly utilized by a developer, not the government, by a developer who has the money and means to develop that land. The community that has the land will perpetually be a member of that company by owing 2.5% equity in that company for life, as long as that company existed.
With all our hearts, we pray and ask. God bless Anambra. God bless the shining light that we bear.